Hey guys, and welcome to my first movie monthly wrap-up video. So you know how everyone does monthly book wrap-ups of what you read during that month? I thought, what a better idea than to actually do a movie wrap-up as well. So this is my November movie wrap-up video. When November started, I still had a bit of Halloween hangover. In October, I wanted to watch a lot of horror movies, but I couldn't because I spent a lot of time reading horror novels. And when November started, I had a bit of a Halloween hangover, so I wanted to watch a couple of horror movies. So the first horror movie that I watched was You're Next, which came out in 2011, and it's an American movie. It's basically a home invasion movie. It's about a family that is spending, I think, Thanksgiving or just a weekend together in their remote house. It's a very wealthy family. All the children bring their fiancés or their girlfriends or boyfriends, and they all have a good family meal. And while that's happening, some people that have animal masks on their faces start shooting arrows through the windows and killing everyone. So this is basically a home invasion movie, but it has a twist in it, and I really like the twist in it. Because of the twist, it's considered kind of a parody of home invasion movies, but it's not anything like scary movie. It's not a funny movie. It's pretty gory. It's horror, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nicely done. The second horror movie that I watched was Dark Touch, and this came out in 2013, and it is a co-production between France, Sweden, and Ireland. The movie takes place in Ireland, and it pretty much deals with a very unsettling theme, which I haven't really seen explored so much in depth in horror movies, and that is child abuse. So it basically is about a girl whose family is killed one night, and she goes into foster care, and then it kind of becomes more obvious as the movie progresses that she had been abused. The movie is quite graphic at times with the child abuse, and I was very unsettled by this movie. Throughout the whole movie, I thought it was very dramatic and it was very unsettling. It's one of those movies that kind of stayed with me for a few days after I watched it, and I felt sick, like physically sick, after I finished watching this movie. And yeah, another thing that I have to tell you is don't watch a trailer. Don't watch a trailer for this. If you want to watch it, just go watch it. The trailer kind of gives away the whole movie. The third and last horror movie that I watched was Hunter, and this one came out in 2013 as well, and it is a French and Canadian co-production which stars Abigail Breslin, the little girl from Little Miss Sunshine and from My Sister's Keeper. It is about a family with a teenage girl who's Abigail Breslin and a younger son. It is only the teenage girl who realizes that she and her family are living the same day over and over and over again, and that combined with the weird noises that she hears around the house lead her to think that her house is haunted, and she starts investigating on what's happening. I thought it was an entertaining horror movie. I thought that the twists in the movie were quite interesting, but at the same time, towards the end, it kind of just becomes really silly. Next, after those horror movies, I stopped watching horror movies. I got over my Halloween hangover, and I started watching movies that I generally watch a lot, which is kind of a lot of world cinema. So the first movie that I watched was out of Austria, and it is called Kuma, and it came out in 2012. This is actually about a family of Turkish immigrants in Austria. It's basically about a girl called Ayşe. Ayşe gets married in her village in Turkey to a young man who lives in Vienna and whose entire family lives in Vienna. And then she moves back to Vienna with everyone else. And when they get to Vienna, you kind of realize that the marriage isn't what it seemed to be, and that there's a lot of family secrets and family dynamics there that Ayşe has to get adjusted to. It's a very interesting movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done, and the acting was really, really good. It's a very good movie, which I highly recommend. Next after that, I watched Transcendence, which I think came out in 2014, and it stars Johnny Depp. And I was really excited for this movie because I love Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors, but I wasn't very impressed with it. The movie deals with artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence helps plan it and whether artificial intelligence is good or bad. I thought that the movie had a lot more potential and it failed to deliver. Some of the things were kind of silly and didn't really make sense, at least to me. It was rather entertaining, but it somehow failed at something. I can't really put my finger on it, but I didn't feel like I loved it, and I didn't feel like I gained much by watching it, or I would have missed anything important if I hadn't. Next up, after Transcendence, I watched a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Turkish movie which is called My Father and My Son. The movie came out in 2005. The movie is about a man who has a very bad relationship with his father because he made choices in his life that clashed with the choices that his father expected him to make. When his son becomes like 5, they decide to go back there and live there with his family. So there's a lot of family drama going on. It's set 5 years after the military coup that took place in Turkey in the 70s, so that's very interesting as well. And I have to tell you that I was crying at this movie within the first 5 minutes since it started, and then it's about a 2-hour long movie, and I don't think I didn't cry for more than 15 minutes. It's a real tearjerker. It's super sad, but also super hopeful in a way. It's so dramatic and it's just beautiful. It's so beautiful, and the acting is just incredible. I love this movie so much, and I can't recommend it more. After that, I watched Paradise Kiss, which is a Japanese movie. It came out in 2011. So Paradise Kiss, for those of you who don't know, is also a manga and an anime series. I haven't read the manga, but I watched the anime about 8 years ago and I really loved it. It is about a high school girl who gets recruited to be a model. That kind of gets her to be very confused and have doubts over what she thought her life should be like versus what she's actually good at and what kind of decisions and choices she should make in life. It's a very cute movie. It's one of those feel-good movies and I quite enjoyed it. I can't really compare it much to the anime because I don't remember the anime much, but I did enjoy the movie. I didn't think it was a mind-blowing movie. It didn't have anything like super spectacular to it, but it was one of those like entertaining feel-good movies that I quite enjoy watching at the time. Next up, I watched In Love We Trust, which is a movie out of China that came out in 2007. This movie is very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I don't really want to say too much. If you read a synopsis on IMDb, it gives away a lot of the movie, and I kind of knew what the movie was really about before I started watching it. As I was watching it, I realized that what is written online about it is only given away about halfway in the movie, so I think it would be very interesting for people to watch it without knowing what it's about, at least not as much as it says online. What I can say is that it's about a family whose daughter gets diagnosed with an illness, and the movie is basically about the choices and the sacrifices that the parents have to make in order for the child to get better. So it's a very interesting movie with a lot of moral dilemmas, and basically the focus of the movie is not on the illness, it's not on the treatment, it's more about the moral dilemmas and the sacrifices that parents have to make in those kind of situations. So I thought that was very interesting, and I thought it was a very well done movie, and I really enjoyed it. Next up, I watched 22 Jump Street, which is a comedy. It's a sequel to 21 Jump Street, which I had already seen about 2 years ago, and I thought it was hilarious. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a huge fan of comedies. I don't watch a lot of comedies, but because I watch them more rarely, I'm more into them and they make me laugh a lot more. So I really enjoyed it. I laughed out loud many times. It was really funny. In the first 21 Jump Street, it's about 2 cops that infiltrate a high school because of a drug network. So they pretend to be high school students in order to see who's dealing the drugs and who's behind the business. So 22 Jump Street is basically very similar. It's the same thing except that they infiltrate into college, which is quite funny. There's a lot of college references, obviously, a lot of making fun of what college students do, so it was quite funny. I really enjoyed that. I also went to the cinema one time this month and I watched Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. I watched this with my parents. My parents like dystopian things a lot, and it's kind of like a family tradition to keep watching the Hunger Games. That was really fun. I quite enjoyed the first part. I've only read the first book from the Hunger Games series, and I haven't read the other one, so I can't compare it to the book. I quite enjoyed it as a movie. It was good, and I'm looking forward to the second part of Mockingjay, which I hope they're not going to wait a whole year to do. I hope they're just going to do it 6 months from now or something, but I have no idea. In terms of TV series, I've finished watching the first half of the 5th season of The Walking Dead, which I'm not really happy with. The 5th season, except for the first episode and the last episode, it's just been very, very slow, and I'm really not happy with the season, with the half-season finale. Yeah, not happy with that. I expected it to go a whole different way, and I'm not happy with how it went. This is it for my November movie wrap-up video. I'm planning to do these every month, so you guys should let me know what you think about it. If you've seen any of these movies, feel free to comment and let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you back with more videos soon. Bye bye!